Hey guys, welcome to my fourth video, I think this is. But today we're going to learn how to install Ai-Toolkit and then how to train a Lora for Flux. It's not going to be a Schnell model. It really requires having a 3090, 24 gigs of VRAM basically. 3090, 4090 work fine. The training does take a little bit of time. It could take up to 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours, or as long as you pretty much want, depending on how many epochs you want to do. But most of the time, usually 2 to 4,000 steps is plenty of training because this train's pretty good. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we're gonna need to do is open up a command prompt in your wherever you've been installing your stuff. So when we open up a command prompt, we're just going to open it up in the D directory for me because it's an external hard drive or another hard drive, not a secondary internal hard drive. But then we're going to go to the GitHub of Ostris AI Toolkit. Once we're here, we're going to do the same thing like we did with Comfy and the other tutorials, guys, is we're just going to copy the link and we are going to come here. And we are going to go here and we are going to type in git clone before we even paste that. Git clone, and then you would paste it. And then just go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to clone this into the directory of the D drive. So now we want to go cd, what is this called? AI-tool kit. Now that we're in the AI toolkit directory, the next thing we're going to need to do is install a Python directory or a virtual environment directory, which we're just going to create one with Python dash m vnv, and then we're spacing it, and then I'm gonna call mine AI vnv, and then we just want to go ahead and hit enter. And once this creates the virtual environment, then we're gonna move on to the next step. One. So we're gonna activate this virtual environment. You're just gonna put your virtual environment, whatever you called yours. If you call it something different, but then you want to follow it up with scripts, just like we did in Comfy, and then activate to activate the virtual environment. So there we go. We got our virtual environment activated. Now we're gonna scroll down in the Ostris like AI toolkit. It's got all the stuff here. So we did this, and then we did this. Actually, let's deactivate the. We're gonna follow this step by step, and we're just gonna type DE in front of here real quick. All right, so we're right here, and we're just gonna go to recursive, type this git submodule. Now, if you're getting errors with the submodule, that means your directory is too long. Like it's like C drive, blah blah, users, blah blah, public, and so on and so on. You want to have a short directory for this to work without having any errors with the git submodule update. Can't get any shorter than just D drive AI toolkit, so that's pretty much it. So we copied that, and we're just got to paste it in here, and then we just got to hit enter, and let's see if we install without any errors. Like I said, a lot of times people will get errors because the subdirectory is too long. So we didn't get any errors. It seems like it, yeah, it looks like it installed it pretty good. All right, so now we can activate our virtual environment even though we already created it. So there we go. So we basically just skip this step. .vnv scripts to activate. No. Now we're right here at pip install for CUDA. So we're going to control C that. Right click at that and hit enter. And this is going to be very short and sweet if your internet speed is up to date and fast. Now, this is all going to depend on your internet speed, guys. So it may take a little bit. It's going to take roughly, for me, I think like a minute or something. All right, so wait for these dependencies to all install for PyTorch, and then we're going to install the main dependencies next, which is going to be the pip install text. Control C that. And also, this depends on your hard drive as well. If you're running on an old HDD, it's best not to do this on those. Those will take a lot longer to run and to load models and stuff like that. It's best to use a NVMe to do all this. All right, so next we're going to install pip installer requirements.txt. And this might take a little bit of time to install. Building the wheel for the diffusers. Yeah, so like I said, this may take a little bit of time. Do not stop your workflow or close out your command prompt. Just be patient, let it sit there, and let it finish. All right, so now that it's done, we have this all fully ready to go, which I do believe. I'm just going to upgrade my pip install for this one as well. All right, so now that we got Ai-Toolkit installed, we followed these steps, we're good to go. So the next thing you want to do is go to down, where is it? Right here, Flux Dev. So you're gonna have to, if you never done it yet, you gotta create a Hugging Face account. You gotta have a Hugging Face account. Then you want to go to the Black Forest web, and it'll prompt you with some kind of agreement to use this model. You have to agree to it to use this model. If you've already done that, skip to the next step, which is basically going to be. I'm just going to do this by pictures. Step 1, we're going to click up here in the top right on your little avatar icon once you're at this page of Hugging Face, once you signed in. Then you're going to go to settings. You're going to click on settings, and then you're going to click on access tokens. And once you do that, you should get this page, which then you're going to click on create new token. Once you click on create new token, then you're going to click on the read, because you need a read token. So click on read and then name your token, whatever you want to name it, like whatever your PC is or whatever you want to name it. Like I said, whatever it's linked to that PC in a sense, so you know it's for that PC. All right, once you've done that and you named it, you just want to click on create token. Now, another little screen's going to pop up. I don't have a screenshot for that because it had an access token. I'm too lazy to even scratch it out for you guys. But you're just going to do like we did with Grok. If you were here in the previous tutorials and how to install Grok, you're going to copy your token key. You're going to copy your token key, but do not close it. Do not close your thing until you completely did the step. So now we want to go to File Explorer. We're going to go to our D drive or wherever your Ai-Toolkit is installed. We are going to create or open up Notepad. and you're gonna see like what is it? Scroll down. Scroll down. Did I pass it? Yeah. What? Oh, I'm on the wrong site. Duh. So once we do that, you're going to see this HF key token with the equal signs right up to here. So you're going to copy that. You're going to put that in your notepad. And then you're going to throw your Hugging Face HF underscore your key right after it. No space on this one. It's going to be right after it. And once you do that, you want to go to File, Save As, and we're going to call this .env, like that. We're going to save it as all files. Make sure you have it on all files. You're going to save it in your Ai-Toolkit directory. That's going to have your key for the Hugging Face, allowing you to use this model. So we're going to go ahead and hit save, and boom, there, you're done. You have your key in there. We're done with this website. And yeah, we should be all done with that. So the next thing after you do that, I got to cut mine into here. I just moved mine out to the desktop and then saved it so you guys could, so I could do the process for you guys. But yeah, we're just gonna replace that now. Anyways, so the next step now is to create your data set. I literally have a quick data set right here. Where are you? So my data set is Lance Reddick, right? I just grabbed 5 images with high quality. The higher the quality, the better training you're going to get. The recommended is anywhere from 10 to 25 images if for decent results. The higher you go, I don't know if you're going to get much better images. But yeah, so that's it. So this is my data set. I used Comfy UI to create my prompts, right? So this workflow will be in my Discord channel, guys. So you just go to the Discord and yeah, grab the workflow, drag it in, use your Comfy manager, that I showed you guys how to install, and basically install missing custom nodes. That easy. All right, so for this, we're gonna take our directory in here, right? So we got Lance Riddick. Say these the text documents are not in here. I would just grab this right here. I would delete that, Control V that there, right? Click that. And this is the output for the image or for the prompt or the TXT files. I put it in a captions folder, which is basically just right here. And this is what it spit out. It'll do every image as one, like, documents like this. So real simple captions. It takes literally about 2 minutes to do that for those images I did. Maybe a minute, maybe about a minute. But you could do up to 25 images, no problem with this thing. Within about 3 minutes, it'll spit out the things. You don't even need this on. You could just literally bypass that. There's no need for that. Leave everything as is, guys. You don't even have to change nothing. You just got to change your directories, and that's it. And then once you got your directories changed with your images in them, just hit Q prompt, boom, done. You got your captions. Then you just got to match up your captions with your images. And once you do that, that's fine. Best to go over your captions and make sure it's set to your liking. Like I'm doing, for instance, I'm doing Lance Riddick. So I put Lance Riddick in every one, right? And yeah, so that's what I put for everyone was Lance Riddick. And then I just double check these and make sure it didn't have anything extra that it didn't need in there. If you're doing a style or something, you prefer to just double check your stuff. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Think I'm hoping I'm not missing nothing. Okay, so that's it. So now that we got our data set all done, you know what I mean? Just, you could test it with 5 images to 10 images. Just do a quick test with your thing. Make sure everything's working. Now the next step we need to do is to go into our D drive. We need to go into the Ai-Toolkit. We need to go into the configuration, examples, and we're going to take this Lora train flux. The Schnell, I don't use Schnell just because it's a lower quality. I like to use the actual real dev model. I think this is the dev model, but anyways, I'm just going to call this train Lora. We'll just call it train Lora. All right, so we're going to change a couple settings in here, and that's probably a bit about it. I'm going to open it up in Notepad++ on this one. So the first thing you want to change is a name, basically what your model is going to be. So mine's going to be Lance-Riddick. My output, I'm not even going to put an output because it's going to create a subdirectory for me called a folder called Lance-Riddick, and then it's going to store my stuff in there. So I'm not too worried about that. And oh my God, Spotify, why do you keep like messing up with audio? Yeah, and that's it. We don't need to bother this. Now the trigger, we want to activate this, so we want to take away this little hashtag, and we're gonna call mine. I'm gonna call it LRED. So this is the trigger that's gonna trigger Lance-Riddick, right? So LRED, you don't want to name it like Lance-Riddick, or like if you're doing like Mr. Bean, you don't want to call it Mr. Bean. You want to call it something else, so you know your model's working and it's calling your model. Lora, this is going to affect your file size. 32 is going to be 300 and some megabytes. 64 is going to be 600 and some megabytes. Pretty much doubled 300 and whatever it was. But usually 32 is what most people will run if they're doing this. Save every whatever. This is basically save every so many, otherwise it's steps. So I'm going to save a model every 50 steps. And it's only going to keep 4 models. So if you're keeping an eye on it, like that's why the reason I only do every 4 steps is because it'll keep the last 4 of the thing. Or you could switch it to like maybe every 100. Right, so every 100 it's saving a model, and if you're doing like 500 for your first step just to see where you are, and then 600, at least you're always going to keep those models, like 4 models, but you're going to miss 1. If that makes sense. So I'll just do it at every 100. The path to your folder, which is going to be the path to your folder with your txt files, or with your what do you call them, captions. So we're going to copy this, and then we're just going to put it in between the brackets here. We're going to control V that, and on this one you want to make sure you have double backslash and not just a single. Make sure it's double. There we go. So path to my Lance-Riddick folder with the pictures and the txt files. Shuffle tokens. I don't. You can if you want. I don't know if it improves it or not. Haven't really played around too much with it. Cache latents to disk. That one takes up like a lot of time to do that, so I always do false. All right, what else do we got? How many steps do we want to go? So like I said, if you're doing like 500 at a time, so you do 500 and whatnot, and then it'll say 4 models at every 100 like we put up top. So every like 100, 200, 300, 400, it'll save a model. So gradient accumulation steps we leave alone. Everything else we train unit, leave it alone. We don't even bother any of this stuff. LE4 is basically like 0.123, and then 4 is 1. And you know what I mean? LE3 would be just that. LE5 would be just an extra 0. LE5 to LE, like LE-4 is good for training. LE-5 is good it's a slower training, but it's also just a little bit finer when it's making your model. But LE4 works perfectly fine as well. Skip the first sample. We want to click that as true because we don't need that first set of images that it's going to spit out like instantly, because your model's not even going to be worked in yet. All right, so everything else we're going to leave alone here. Samples every 100. We're going to match it with when our model comes out, so we know whether it looks good or not with that model. And what else do we got here? Okay, these are our prompts for the images are going to spit out. There's 10 here, but we're not going to use 10. We're just going to use 2, just so it speeds up that time. And we're going to take out woman. We're going to put a man. Or we'll just leave it how it was. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is make sure our trigger's in here. So we're going to copy this. So when it spits out these images, we're going to... Oh, okay. We're just going to cancel that. Or Control Z that. So when it spits out the images, it's going to spit out what our model is supposed to be. So Control V trigger and then Control V to put that in there. All right, so the trigger is going to be what we had up LRED, LRED. So it's going to automatically fill it in here for us. That's it, guys. That's pretty much this whole setup. So now we can go ahead and just close this and save it. Well, that's great. All right, so now that we got that all done, guys, we are good to go. So now all we are got to do now is run Python run.py config, meaning we're going to config folder, and we want a / on this one. And we called it, what is it? Train _ Lora dot YAML. All right, you got to make sure your YAMLs match up. If you create a YAML file and you're doing it like with Notepad++, and it creates a YML file, you're going to have to use the extension YML and not YAML. So make sure you use the extension that you have your settings saved as. All right, so once we're done that, we can just go ahead and click enter, and it should start training. If we don't get any errors, hopefully we don't. Now, don't forget, this part is going to take a little bit to run the first model because it's got to download a lot of stuff. So please do not just cancel it out, or else you'll have to just like wait for it to like do it all over again. So yeah, so that's it, guys. That's it for this, and I'll come back when the model is we hit 1,000 steps or something. So just an FYI, guys. Where I was showing you guys this LE4, make sure it's LE-4 or 0.0001. Don't take out the numbers. I forgot to do that on this one, so just giving you guys a heads up. And that should be it, guys. And then the training should work perfectly fine, because I was getting this error and I'm like, why? And then I went through my config file and I noticed that I had the zeros in there. But yeah, so I'm gonna just start this over again, training, and it should go. It should go. So once again, it'll be back when the training is at its peak, or done, I should say. All right, so after 500 steps, we're kind of getting our guy here a little bit. So hopefully we can get him within the next 5 to 1,500 steps. So I'm just going to push this up to 2,000 and see where we get from there. Also, in a way to continue the Lora is when you're in your output folder, which is right here. Where is it? It's right here. You want to put your last one to the highest number, which is 500 for this case. It's usually just going to leave the numbers out, and it's just going to be lance_riddick.safetensors. So all you got to do is put the amount of numbers in here and make sure it's even with the rest of these, or where it last ended off at. Like I said, for this one, it ended off at 500. And then from there, you want to take your config file copy your config file, take it over to here, and then paste it in here. And then from here, you just want to open up with Notepad or whatever you have. And then where it says train steps, we want to bump this up to, I'm just going to go as high as 2,000 steps right now. And then I'll just let this run. And that's pretty much it on this one on how to continue your training. So yeah, it's not that hard. We'll continue training and we'll come back with the final product here after 2,000 steps. Also to mention, when you go to continue your training, instead of train Lora this time, instead of training Lora, we are gonna just type in config, because that's what the saved one was called. And then that's it. And then you just continue your training. All right. So we got our steps up to 2,000 steps finally. I fell asleep, so I just paused my recording and continuing now. So that's why my voice is a little groggy. So I have it set up so I have Lance Reddick in my, what do you call him, Lora folder. I just put LRED as a bald military guide, as LRED was my keyword. So let's go ahead and just do a thing. I'm using a CFG of 1, 20 steps. And yeah, we'll just hit it 3 times here. And we'll see what we get. We should have a Lance Reddick look like at 2,000 steps. The training took about, I think it was like an hour and a half. I think that's what it took. Something like that. Maybe even a little bit longer. Oh, just shy of 2 hours. Okay, so an hour and 53 minutes. So that's not too bad. So 2 hours is what it took. And the model, I think, will come out nice looking. 6 images. What is it? 6 images? 0 to 5. Yeah, 6 images. High quality images. Like these are pretty high quality images. The higher you go, the more it's probably gonna come out, I guess, a little bit better. Let's see if we can get this video under 30 minutes. It would be nice, but this is being really slow right now. And the last image will probably look pretty decent, but this is what I was doing previous to this, just so you guys see. It started out with this, the very first image, then it went to this, which is more him, and then obviously a lot more him. And this is him as a military on this one, and yeah, so it looks pretty good, guys. The model turned out pretty good. Could I train a little more? Probably just a little bit more. But honestly, it looks pretty good. The only thing is his eyes are like glossy, super glossy. So I don't know. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole training, guys. Just a little over 30 minutes on this. We'll wait for this last image, and not so much him on this one. I don't know why, but yeah. But these ones look pretty good. This one not so much. I don't know. A little bit longer on the face, but these were my first images right here. Like that's, looks really good. Looks exactly like him right there. Yeah. So that's it. That's how you train, guys. Real easy, real simple. I'm sorry this video took 30 minutes to show you guys, but that's usually about how long it takes to do a full train setup and everything. All right. Later, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it helps you out as well.